Long before we had our family milk cow, these are the dairy recipes that we were making on a regular basis. And regardless of if you're able to source milk on your own or if you buy it from a local dairy or the grocery store, being able to make these recipes is what gave us so much confidence in the kitchen to be able to make things we used to think were only possible to buy from the store. Our alarm woke us up bright and early, a bit before 5 this morning, just as the sun was beginning to rise up over our homestead. We knew we needed to get the yogurt started by 5 because we both needed to get out the door early this morning. Joelle was going to take our kids to swimming lessons, and I needed to go pick up our Azure standard order. And 5 a.m. would time it so we could do the next yogurt step before we left.
Making homemade yogurt was really my first big from scratch entry point into this homesteading lifestyle, and that was over 12 years ago now. We've always made yogurt in the crock pot, but you can also make it on your stove top or in your Instant Pot. There's a lot of different methods out there, but the crock pot has always been our go-to, and it's really simple. The first step is just heating up the milk. So that's what I'm gonna do here in the crock pot. I'm gonna pour a half gallon of milk into our crock pot and set it on low for 2.5 hours. So this is gonna give us time to eat breakfast, get chores done outside, get everyone ready, and then do the next step right before we leave, which is just turning the crock pot off or unplugging it and letting it sit for another 3 hours. Oh. Looks like the timer went off. All right, we're gonna turn this off. Come back in 3 hours. Are you gonna help me make ice cream?
Yes.
All right, sure.
We're in a pretty hot stretch here. The whole week ahead is supposed to be in the 90s, so it's the perfect weather to make your own homemade ice cream. Or if you're us, that's pretty much any time of the year.
Cream.
Oh, fine, help.
All right, the cream's back there. What else is in it?
Milk.
Milk, yep, we need the milk.
Should I help?
Let's see, we need salt, honey, eggs. You want to grab 4 eggs?
Making homemade ice cream is one of those things that sounds really fancy and hard, but it's actually super simple. It can be pretty challenging to find good ice cream options at the store that don't have a lot of added junk and are affordable. So making your own homemade ice cream is a really great option to make a way more nutritious and cost-effective ice cream that's also super delicious. Ice cream is also a great recipe to get your kids involved with too, because really all you're doing is pouring a few ingredients into your blender, mixing it up, and pouring it into your ice cream maker.
All right, so we need 1 cup. So where's the 1 cup line? Yeah, right there. Perfect. Give it a shake. Here, why don't you close it and give it a shake first. Shake it up. Perfect.
Good?
Yeah, that one's good.
Recently we got these Solite pour tops for our mason jars that we use for our milk, and they've been awesome. Our kids never really felt comfortable pouring a half-gallon jar of milk before. It just never worked well with little hands and always resulted in drips and spills. But since getting these Solite tops with the handles, our daughter gladly volunteers to pour milk every day for her siblings, and being able to help in just that one simple way has really given her a lot more confidence overall in the kitchen.
Our basic vanilla ice cream recipe only has cream, milk, vanilla extract, honey, salt, and egg yolks. So you're just gonna pour all the ingredients into a blender and then add it to the frozen container of your ice cream maker. So we have our cream, our milk, our egg yolks, vanilla, and honey, and salt. That's everything?
Yep.
All right, let's blend it up. Off to on. Turn up the dial a little bit. Yep, just a little bit. You don't have to go all the way. Yep, that's good, that's good. All right, that's really all we need. Scoot this over. Let's get our ice cream maker set up. And then we're gonna very carefully, you're gonna take the lid off the blender. Yep, and then we're gonna pour what's inside the blender into our ice cream makers. First we need to turn the ice cream maker on. There you go. And pour it in. That's it. You just wait and let the magic happen.
Can I watch it, Mommy?
You can watch it. It'll take like 30 minutes, so. Now there's a large spectrum of ice cream makers out there that you can buy, but we have about the most bare bones Cuisinart model that we got 15 years ago when we got married, and it still works great. So don't feel like you need to get the fanciest ice cream machine out there. A basic ice cream maker has worked just fine for us to make delicious ice cream. After the yogurt has had a chance to sit for 3 hours to cool, I'm going to stir in a half a cup of our starter culture. So this is just a half a cup of plain yogurt from either your previous batch of yogurt that you made or a half a cup of store-bought plain yogurt. When I'm looking for store-bought plain yogurt to use as a starter culture, I always look at the ingredient label and get yogurt that the only ingredients are milk and then the live and active cultures. Oftentimes they like to throw in other thickeners or pectin into the ingredients, so look for just the milk and the live and active cultures. And I found that it's usually easier to find this when you're looking at Greek yogurt. Then we're going to wrap up the crock pot in towels to insulate it and let it sit for 8 or 9 hours on the counter, and it's going to be ready right before we go to bed. For lunch today, we're gonna make a cream sauce or an alfredo sauce that we're gonna put over some cod fillets and some leftover rice that we had. So making your own alfredo sauce is another one of those things that's so tasty, and it only needs a couple of basic ingredients and you can whip it up in just 5 or 10 minutes. So we love to have this with pasta, to put on pizza, or add it to vegetables and meat and rice like we're doing today. First, I'm chopping up some garlic, and when you're using garlic in cooking, you always want to chop it first and let it sit for at least 10 minutes before adding it to your cooking. Waiting for 10 minutes allows some powerful antioxidants and nutritional properties in the garlic to build up that would otherwise be destroyed in cooking if you cooked the garlic right away. But if you wait that 10 minutes or longer, then it's going to be built up enough that it wouldn't be destroyed when you're cooking it, and so you're going to get more health benefits from your garlic. I'm going to heat up some butter on the pan, add the garlic, some salt, pepper, and Italian seasonings, and let that saute together for a couple minutes. Then we'll add our cream and stir that in. Once that's all heated, we're going to add fresh shredded cheese. We like to shred up our farmhouse cheddar cheese that we make for this. It's always best to buy a block of cheese and shred it yourself, especially when you're adding it to a recipe and it's supposed to be melted. And that's because pre-shredded cheese that you buy from the store, they're gonna add anti-caking ingredients to that cheese so that it doesn't stick together in the bag. But by doing so, those anti-caking ingredients are gonna keep it from melting properly as it should. I like to add the cheese in small increments and stir it and let it melt and then add some more in, as opposed to just dumping it all in all at once. And we'll link the recipe for this cream sauce and all the other recipes that we mentioned below. We'll also add the link to our free home dairy recipes ebook that has even more of our tried and true dairy recipes that we make on a regular basis on our homestead.
But you have some garbage on you. Okay.
That's so good. Now that the sauce is ready, I'm gonna set that aside and I'm gonna get to work on our rice and our cod. So I'm gonna chop up some mushrooms and some garlic scapes that we have, and I'm gonna saute those and add some leftover rice to that. I'm gonna throw the cod in the oven, get that baking, and I'm gonna stir fry these vegetables and add the rice to it. For serving this, I'm gonna put the cod fillets right on top of the rice and then just spoon some of this delicious cream sauce over the top. I'm also just gonna leave a little extra on the side because everyone always likes to just scoop a little extra into their bowls because it's so, so good. I love the way that making a homemade cream sauce takes a basic meal like your white fish and your rice and takes it to the next level. Plus, everything just feels fancier when you add some alfredo sauce or cream sauce to it, and it's so, so delicious.
Right? Look. And then I did that.
Many years back, I became the cheesemaker of our house, plus I do the sourdough, and occasionally I get asked how that came to be. And I think it went something like me asking Joelle to make these things, and she just flat out didn't have the time or capacity to take that on, and so she said something like, "You want them, you make them," and I really like cheese and bread, so that's what I did. Making mozzarella is right where I started, and this is still one of our staple cheeses I make today. I've learned since then that there's a general consensus among cheesemakers that mozzarella is really not a beginner-friendly cheese. And I can understand that since it took me several different recipes and many attempts until I felt like I had a handle on it. But I tried to make the recipe post and video for this one as detailed and easy to follow along as possible so anyone can nail it right away. What's great about mozzarella, and really all of the recipes we're making today, is that you don't necessarily need raw milk to make them. That said, we always recommend getting as high quality milk as possible because a lot of what's in milk gets denatured or lost with higher levels of pasteurization. In cheese making especially, many recipes will call for fresh raw milk, but mozzarella is one of those that you can make with just about any milk. The one milk we'd caution you to avoid is UHT or ultra pasteurized milk, where the proteins within the milk become completely denatured, making it really hard for your body to digest. This type is unfortunately becoming harder to avoid as it's becoming the standard on grocery store shelves, even among organic options. But we've found there are a growing number of small and local dairies offering non-homogenized, low pasteurized milk that is a great option. To give you a quick summary of the steps for making mozzarella, the first thing you need is to acidify your milk. And this is important to give your mozzarella that signature stretch it's known for when heated up. I found the best and most natural way to do this is with apple cider vinegar or lemon juice. After the acidified milk reaches 90 degrees Fahrenheit, then you add rennet, which coagulates the milk or separates the curd from the whey. Once you have your curd formed, there's some other steps in there to get it to its final form, but really none of them are that complicated, even for someone completely new to cheese making. Oh yeah, look at that stretch.
Oh boy.
Just keeps going, uh-oh.
What do you mean uh-oh?
I thought it was gonna flop in, but we're okay. Mozzarella. If you did it right, you'll end up with these smooth, stretchy, delicious balls of soft mozzarella cheese. And if you didn't, which definitely happens, your balls might not stretch and look the prettiest, but will still taste fantastic on pizza or grilled cheese, and you can try and make some slight adjustments, usually to the acidity level, for next time.
After having burgers for dinner, everyone's excited to try a scoop of our homemade ice cream for dessert. We even have some fresh cherries from our young cherry trees for the perfect topping. Our day started with yogurt and it's gonna wrap up with yogurt as well. So we're gonna take the towels off, scoop the yogurt into jars. Now for a thicker yogurt, you could strain the yogurt with a cheesecloth so that the whey will separate from it and you'll get a thick, more Greek style yogurt, but I'm just gonna put it in the jars as is for today. There are all sorts of opinions about dairy out there. For us, trying to source high quality dairy and then making our own dairy products has been a huge part of our diet for years, and I think has really benefited us both nutritionally, but it's also been just a really fun source of learning and entertainment for our family as we've experimented and tried new things.